Okay. So I think I'm live now. I think. So I've never actually done this before. I decided to test it out. So I thought I would test it out with my DVD collection. Ooh. So along with food and art, I love movies. I watch a ton of movies. These are just what's in my collection. They're organized by color because I tried by genre and they looked really hideous on the wall that way. So these are U brackets from Amazon. I think I have 8 of them. I have room to grow. I can go one more row up and one more row down. But I thought I would test out Instagram Live and look through my movies with you. And I'm filming on my phone, which I've also never done before. This is my Pixel. So we'll see how this goes. I've done this on Instagram. I tested Instagram Live today and I did this too. So we'll see. Boop. Okay, so let's go and start at the top. At the top is the white section. So in the white section, I have a few of my favorites. I talked about Instagram on Instagram. I did the Virgin Suicides. Wrist Cutters is one I did not mention on Instagram. Wrist Cutters, a love story, is a very sweet little film. It's a very sweet indie film. It was available on Amazon Prime to stream, but I don't think it's available there anymore. But if you have the chance, watch it. It's a very quirky love movie. It's a very romantic little quirky film. Let's see, who else do I have here? Lost in Translation, I love it. Love Sofia Coppola. First Wives Club is a guilty pleasure of mine. I love the First Wives Club. I watch this way too much. Like, especially, I haven't really fully gone into details or anything about it, but I was engaged. I was supposed to be married. It all fell apart. But this has been a very cathartic thing for me to watch during my time away from my ex-partner. Let's see. Talked about Whip It in Instagram. Very missed opportunity to be a gay movie. I really enjoy it. I love everything about it, but Ellen Page should have had a female love interest. I feel like she has no chemistry with the male love interest. I think her and her friend Patch have far more romantic chemistry, and I believe Patch was played by Aaliyah Shawkat, and she has way more chemistry with her than her love interest, and I feel like that should have just been a girl love movie. Very missed opportunity there. Let's see. I also love It's Complicated because I am a 50-year-old woman trapped in a 33-year-old woman's body. I can't help it. I love it. Let's see. I have like 2 different versions of Rocky Horror Picture Show. I have this one, and I have the box set over there, which was the special edition, 40th anniversary edition. Let's see. I have Daredevil, the director's cut. Now, this was a gift I got. I worked with someone who swore up and down that the director's cut was infinitely better than the theatrical cut because I thought it was not a great film. Poor Ben Affleck cannot catch a superhero break. I am so sorry for Ben Affleck, but I don't agree with him. I don't think the director's cut made it ton better, made it a little bit better, but not enough to really save it. It's not saved. And I have Battle Royale and the sequel, Battle Royale 2. Titus, very underrated series. All of it's available on YouTube. Highly recommend you go over to Christopher Titus's channel and check that out. Sailor Moon, of course. Gotta have my magical girls. Clarissa, Jem, Audrey Hepburn, Addams Family, and Addams Family Values are in this 2 DVD collection. This has all the Batman movies, Now, I personally thought that Michael Keaton was a very good Batman. People gave him kind of flack about it, or they kind of make fun of them. I think he was my favorite Bruce Wayne. I really do. I really like him a lot as Batman. So I heard murmurs about him reprising the role of Batman as the elderly Batman in a Batman Beyond live action film or animated film. I'm not sure what the film would be done in, but I'm excited to see where that goes. I loved Batman Beyond with Terry McGinnis, the animated series. So I'd love to see Michael Keaton reprise his role as Batman for the elderly, curmudgeon-y Bruce Wayne. Let's see. Although he's in pretty good shape. You might have to fake being curmudgeon-y and old. Let's see. Bad Times at the El Royale. Very cool and interesting movie. I saw it, and it was way better than I thought it would be. I had to have it. Let's see. 3 Iron. No one really talks about 3 Iron. So 3 Iron is, I think, is this Korean? Yes, Korean. So it's a Korean film, almost no dialogue. It's very interesting and it's so well done. You have to really just watch this film. This is not something you can just put on and do anything like make a project or paint or something. You have to really pay attention because everything is said in expressions and like glances and actions. Like the two love interests here that you see kissing over this man's shoulder, they never speak, I don't think, one word to each other throughout this entire film. They just exchange glances and that's all they really need to do. Like you can read everything into their expressions and their actions. And it's a very interesting movie. I got into this foreign films because I started renting movies from Blockbuster because I was young and I was visiting my birth father. And the one thing he would do is he didn't necessarily interact with us very much, but he would take us to Blockbuster Video and I could rent whatever I wanted. So over the years, I had rented pretty much everything in that Blockbuster, and I ran out of things to rent, so I started going to the foreign film section, which is where I saw Three Iron, I saw Run Lola Run, and Subterrano, which is in my blue section. It's Australian. And that's where I found Three Iron. I found it at Blockbuster in the foreign film section. I rented it, and I loved it, and so I found it on DVD for like $2 somewhere. Let's see. Some Like It Hot. Very classic. I think this is like a timeless classic. I mean, it's not necessarily the most politically correct in today's climate, but I think that the comedy really holds up. Monkey Bone, another underrated movie, has Brendan Fraser, who I love. He is a total snack. This is a very quirky movie. Claymation, like odd, supernatural, otherworldly effects. It's like Tim Burton-esque, but not Tim Burton. It's so weird. Love Mission Hill. Let's see, Knives Out. Love Knives Out. I think this is actually Blu-ray, but it doesn't have the same fatal flaw of all my other Blu-rays, which are they are blue. So they are all stuck down here, and they're all different size, because that kind of wrecks my whole spiel here. Nana. I do love Nana. Ayazawa never finished Nana. I'm still sour over it. Still upset that we don't have an ending to Nana. Robot and Frank is very good. I think this is currently on Prime or Hulu. Someone has this right now streaming. It's a very sweet movie. I believe Susan Sarandon is in it. She plays like a librarian love interest for Frank. But it's a very sweet, low-budget movie. Freaknik. No one talks about Freaknik. Freaknik is a movie that my sister and I love. This was an Adult Swim special featuring T-Pain as Freaknik, which was like a spring break situation that no longer... I don't think Freaknik exists anymore. It was like a spring break that people of color, like in Atlanta, used to have. And this is kind of like a play on that, and it has amazing songs in it, all by like T-Pain and big names. Like big names actually are on here. But no one cared, which is a shame because it's so good. I love this. Hot Tub Time Machine. I actually went to a premiere for this. I have buttons from watching the premiere of it. Again, John Cusack, love it. Love all the 80s references. They even reference my favorite movie, Better Off Dead, in it. But the kid says, I want my $2 in the background. It's referenced from Better Off Dead. Let's see. Subterrano, told you. Subterrano. Weird Australian movie. Think it's based off a comic book, not 100% sure, but it is very bizarre. I don't really necessarily recommend it to people. I just have a soft spot for it because I watched it when I was young. So I had to have it. It was super cheap. Saved. Another good movie. I'm talking so much today. Oh, I have to put this back in the section. Return to Oz. Return to Oz does not get enough attention for it. So Fairuza Balk played Dorothy in this version. The box art is atrocious. Look at that. That is not Fairuza Balk at all. Like, what is that? But this is a very dear to my heart movie. I don't know what possessed me one summer. When I was in high school, I just got possessed and I had to read a bunch of the Wizard of Oz books. And I was shocked to find out that they were far darker than the musical The Wizard of Oz would have anyone believe. They were very dark and very interesting, especially the sequels, which this is based off of Ozma of Oz, and a few other books kind of have bits and pieces kind of shoved in here. But it's very dark. So when Dorothy returns to Kansas in the first film, she of course, tells Auntie Em and Uncle Henry all about it. And they think she's nuts and she's having a hard time sleeping, so they take her for shock therapy. Now, she goes for shock therapy, and there's a terrible storm, and the power goes out, and she's able to escape with another kind of mental patient there. And somehow she finds herself back in Oz, but Oz has been taken over. The Scarecrow is no longer the king. All of Oz is in disarray, and she has to find out what's happened and go save her original friends. Like, Tin Man is here in the front. Tin Man has like nothing to do with nothing. He is not in here like at all. He is not supposed to be there. Mostly it's Billina the chicken, Tick-Tock, who is the Royal Army of Oz, Jack, and that is the Gump, and that is Dorothy. Toto doesn't come along with this. In this one, Dorothy has Billina the chicken. So this is very dark, not for everybody, but I absolutely love it. That's Princess Mombi. She's like the villainess of this. You think she's the big bad, but then it reveals that the Gnome King is actually the big bad. But Mombi's deal is that she has a whole like closet full of heads, like a whole hallway full of heads, and she can change out her head to any other head that she wants. And her memories of whatever she did that day may or may not be tied to that head. So they say it is, but I don't think that's necessarily true, because I don't think that's true for other heads, but that becomes kind of like a red herring kind of plot device kind of thing at some point. So it's very dark. If you like dark, like scary children's things, like if you like Legend, if you like Labyrinth, I think is more lighthearted than this. I don't think if you're a Labyrinth fan you would like this, but if you like Legend, you would probably like this a lot. And this goes back in my blue section, because I don't know how you escaped it, Dorothy. So let's see. We went through light blue. We are in the blue, dark blue, dark blue. Death Becomes Her. Identity, also a really good movie. I feel like people slept on Identity. It's a John Cusack movie. It's very, very fun, very twisty. I feel like if you don't really like horror, you would still like Identity. I was able to get my ex-boyfriend, who did not care for horror movies, to watch it, and he enjoyed it. So, let's see. Mr. Mom. I have a soft spot for Michael Keaton. He is also a snack. Let's see. Mystery Men, another fun, quirky party monster. I actually read Disco Bloodbath, the autobiography. Well, it's kind of like autobiography with quotes by James St. James of Disco Bloodbath, and I watched the movie. I love them both. It's very fun. Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin really sell this movie. I enjoy it. It has amazing soundtrack. Amazing soundtrack. Let's see. Gargoyles. Love me some Gargoyles. Beetlejuice. Goofy Movie. Goofy Movie is vastly superior to Extremely Goofy Movie. I love Powerline. Better Off Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time. Love this movie. Somehow I keep losing it. I don't know if I rent it out to friends and they just never give it back. I think this is my third copy of Better Off Dead I've had to purchase. My first one I think had special features. That's long gone. Same thing happened with my Virgin Suicides up there in the white, the first one. I had a special edition and I loaned it to someone in college and they never gave it back. So I lost it and I had a hard time finding the special edition to repurchase. So I have the widescreen edition now. Kicking myself. I don't loan things out anymore because that kind of stuff happens. But so now you're here and you're safe. Watchmen and V for Vendetta. Alan Moore hated them. He's very much over Hollywood, but I really like the Watchmen and Vendetta. I have the Watchmen's graphic novel over on my other shelf where my books and stuff are, but I don't think the Space Squid kind of thing would have worked in the film. I think the editing they did really just made it more kind of concise. Like, you couldn't do a full film of the graphic novel, I don't think. Or if you did, it'd be like Lord of the Rings long, and I don't think people would have sat through that. But I think the editing they did was okay. I really love this movie, and I'm sad that Alan Moore doesn't get anything from these things. He like gave up all of his rights, but I think he gave them to the artist that he worked with, so I think he gets the money from these because they're so good. Let's see, Blood the Last Vampire. They had a series on Adult Swim for a while that I watched. It was Blood Plus. It was okay. Serial Experiments Lane has a soft spot in my heart. Love the theme song. Still don't fully comprehend that series. It's a very trippy series. Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Love it. Some Asian horror like H and where is it? A Tale of Two Sisters. They remade this in America and it was not as good. I forget, it's not called this in America, A Tale of Two Sisters. I forget what it's called. It's like The Uninvited or something in America. And the American version had, I think it was Emily Browning in it. And I love her, but I didn't care for that movie. The Tale of Two Sisters is way better. Wishing Stairs is also a very fun horror, Asian extreme horror. Let's see. Resurrect Dead is a Philly-specific documentary about the Toynbee tiles. If you've ever seen them, they look like this. They were these linoleum tiles that people found in the streets of Philadelphia put down with tar. And what this is local dudes got very curious about and tried to figure out what was the deal with them and how was he even getting them down there. So they figured out that it was like a car that he cut the bottom out of, and he would just like stop the car and put down this like linoleum tile and tar it into the street that would say like Resurrect Dead on planet Jupiter. And they were trying to figure out why he did that and like why was it like Kubrick's like 2020 like one film. Like it was just very interesting to see what they were able to figure out with it. Gremlins 2. J.K. Rowling, very problematic, but I do love my Harry Potters. I have all these. I'm not really going to get rid of them, but I don't want to give her any more of my money, so they're here. Adult Swim in a Box is one of my most prized possessions. So, Adult Swim in a Box, let's see, can you see what's in there? Did they have a list? Yeah, there we go. So, Sealab 2021, Metalocalypse, Robot Chicken, it's all like seasons, like the early seasons, like season 1, season 2, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, Moral Oral, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and the pilots. Now, the pilots are, I don't even know if these exist online anymore, but Cheyenne Cinnamon and the Fantabulous Unicorn of Sugartown Candy Fudge, Korgoth of Barbaria, which eventually I think got picked up, Korgoth. Perfect Hair Forever got picked up for a while. Welcome to Eltingville, I think was Tim and Eric, like a precursor to that. The Best of Totally for Teens, like those I don't think they really exist online anymore. But I got this at a Suncoast video used years ago, and it's one of my favorite possessions I have. I love this Adult Swim in a Box, but I love Adult Swim. And speaking of Adult Swim, I have my Venture Brothers season 1 through season 6 here. I am a big Venture Brothers fan. I'm actually wearing a Triana Orpheus themed skull t-shirt right now. I can't speak highly enough about this series. They just got the axe. They just got canceled, which is such a shame. It really breaks my heart. I really hope that they are able to work it out with Adult Swim and make a special that can air that'll tie up all the loose ends, because it was such a good series. I've watched all of these episodes. I've watched them all with commentary. I have the art book I splurged on. I got the big hardcover art book, which is amazing. If you're a fan of the Venture Brothers, highly recommend it. So we'll see what happens to you, my precious Venture Brothers. But look at this packaging. Okay, so Volume 1. 4 was broken up into 2 parts. So it was Season 4, Volume 1. So like it looks like his speed suit. And then Volume 4, Part 2 is the same speed suit all bloodied up. And it's so cool. It's so well done. And then when you take off the sleeve, it's his like naked body. Like there's like a nipple in here. Like I don't think YouTube likes nipples, so I can't show you. But yeah, it's so well packaged, so well designed. Like I just look at this. Look at this. It's such cool art. The menus for this one are like old Atari games. Like they just put so much work and love into those. I really hope that they get picked back up. I love them. And then we reach the very end where I have a few Blu-rays that are like odd heights that kind of ruin my whole collection. And then I have some video games. Again, lots of food theme. Love my Cooking Mama. And let's see, like Pokken, Splatoon, Smash, Hyrule Warriors. Love Hyrule Warriors. And let's see, over here, got PlayStation 2. So I was a big fan of Kingdom Hearts, so I got Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep. Love DDR, used to have the soft pads. And I have Braid, which is a PC game that I beat. It's kind of like a cool puzzle game. It's very dark. And 10 and 10-2 Final Fantasy, which are the only Final Fantasies I've ever played. And 10-2, I absolutely hated. I hated 10-2. I hated how it was like pandering to like, look, you're a girl in a songstress and you can wear pretty outfits. And at one point, Yuna's literally dancing, going la 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 la, and it drove me nuts. I was so full of rage. And there's an optional boss in the desert that I went to go beat, which was pretty cool. But the main boss, I beat the optional boss first, and I should not have done that. I should not have done side quest first. But I was too overpowered by the time it came to defeating the final main boss. It doesn't level up with you with your difficulty. It just like stayed what it was. So I killed it in like 3. I had like all my warriors were like leveled up. I made everybody warriors because I kind of suck at like RPG games. Like, so an example of that is The World Ends With You. So I love The World Ends With You. An ex-boyfriend got it for me years ago, and I was playing it, and I didn't understand that equipping clothes gave you different powers. I thought it was stupid to play dress up. I was like, why would I want to play dress up? That is stupid. Why would I play a dress up game? Who cares what hat he's wearing? So I never equipped anything for like half the game. So really I was playing the game like on hard grind mode because I didn't have any of the things. Like if you equip like a certain hat, you get like plus health or plus attack or plus defense. I did not realize that. I thought it was just playing dress up. So to me, I'm not an RPG player. I can't hang with RPGs. So playing Final Fantasy X-2, I was like, Songstress is stupid. I just want all warriors. I had all beefy warriors like Yuna, Riku, and Pain were all leveled up high warriors, and I killed the main like piano, like elephant boss, like so quick. It was so pointless. So that's a little bit of my collection. So I've never done YouTube Live before. I thought this would be a fun way to test it out. If this works, maybe I'll do some food reviews and some art videos this way, because filming with my phone is way easier than filming with a camera. So, boop. So that's it for this attempt at YouTube Live. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. If this works, maybe I'll do some food stuff and art stuff. So, bye.